Welcome, my dear students. Today I would like to cover code generation chapter. Code generation is the last phase of the compiler. The compiler has 6 phases: lexical analysis, syntax analysis, semantic analysis, intermediate code generator, code optimizer, and the code generator. So code generator, that is code generation, is the last and the final phase of the compiler. The software module responsible for code generation is the code generator. Okay, code generator is the software module responsible for the code generation. So code generator receives optimized intermediate code as input and produces target program in either assembly level or machine level language. So what the code generator does? Code generator takes optimized intermediate code as input and produces target program in either assembly level or machine level language. The code generator performs 3 main tasks. So first one, instruction selection. Second one, register allocation and assignment. And third one is instruction ordering. What is instruction selection? So take an example. So first task of the code generator is instruction selection. Instruction selection involves choosing an appropriate machine instruction from the instruction set to translate each intermediate instruction. For example, so in the beginning of the semester, so we have translated the assignment statement. The statement was position equals initial plus rate into 60. This was the statement we have translated, right? So the code optimizer for this statement, the code optimizer has produced these two intermediate instructions. Okay, each instruction, this is the output of code optimizer for this particular statement. These two instructions are the output of code optimizer. So each instruction is called intermediate instruction. Each instruction is called intermediate instruction. So normally each instruction is a 3 address instruction. Each instruction is a 3 address instruction. You can observe. So in 3 address instruction, every instruction has at most 3 addresses. Every instruction has at most 3 addresses. So constant is an address. Variable id3 is a variable, it is an address. So t1 is a temporary variable to store the result of these two, right? T1 is a variable, temporary variable, so created to store the result of these two. So this instruction is purely a 3 address instruction because the instruction has 3 addresses: 60, id3 and t1. And another condition is for a 3 address instruction is the right side of a 3 address instruction may have 0 or 1 operator. Right side of a 3 address instruction is 0 or 1 operator. So this is purely a 3 address instruction. So next instruction is also a 3 address instruction. Next instruction is an intermediate instruction and it is also a 3 address instruction. So 3 addresses are there. T1 is an address, temporary variable. id2 variable is an address. id1 variable is an address. And the right hand side of equal assignment operator. Okay, the right side has exactly one operator plus, so one operator is allowed. So more than one operator is not allowed in a 3 address instruction. So uh, these two instructions, set of intermediate instructions together, we call it as an intermediate code. So set of 3 address instructions, set of intermediate instructions together, we call it as a 3 address code or intermediate code. Okay, so this is the input to the right. Next, input to the code generator is optimized intermediate code. So output from the code generator is a target program in either assembly level language or machine level language. So output from the code generator is a target program either in assembly level language or machine level language. I said the code generator performs 3 major tasks. One is instruction. First one is instruction selection. Code generator performs 3 major tasks. So first one is instruction selection. Instruction selection means selecting the appropriate instruction from the instruction set to translate each intermediate instruction. You know instruction set, what is instruction set? Instruction set is a set of instructions recognized by a particular machine. Every machine comes with a n number of instructions, that is called instruction set. Every machine comes with, every processor comes with a certain instructions, certain set of instructions. So it can recognize only those set of instructions. So instruction set is a set of instructions recognized by the particular processor. Instruction set is a set of instructions recognized by a particular processor. Okay, right. So first task of the code generator is instruction selection. So in instruction selection involves selecting the particular instruction from the instruction set to translate each intermediate instruction. So let us translate the first intermediate instruction. Okay, so now first the value of the variable id3, so we have to load in register r1. We have to load the value of register or we have to load the value of variable identifier 3 into register r1. For that we are selecting load f, load floating point number. Assume that so the variables id3 and id2 holds floating point numbers. Okay, so assume value of floating point numbers are stored in these variables. So to load the value of id3 into register r1, we are selecting ldf r1 comma id3. Okay, next multiply, we have to multiply these two. So value of id3 is now present in register r1. Value of id3 we have just now loaded into register r1. Okay, now we have to multiply these two. So multiply mulf, it is multiply f, multiply floating point numbers, multiply f. Okay, r1, that is the value of id3 is in register r1 with the immediate address. Hash indicates that the value is available in the instruction itself. Hash indicates that the value is available in the instruction itself. Okay, we multiply these values and store it in this. So we have selected ldf and mulf instructions to translate this 3 address statement. We have selected ldf and mul instructions. So first task of the code generator is selecting the instructions from the instruction set to translate each intermediate instruction. So next, to translate the second instruction, we have selected these three instructions from the instruction set. To translate the second three address, to translate the second intermediate instruction, so we have selected so LDF, ADDF and STF instruction from the instruction set. So see how we translate. See here, let us translate the second instruction. The value of ID2 we have to load in register R2. So for that choose LDF instruction. LDF R2 comma ID2. So load the value of identifier 2 into register R2. The meaning of this instruction is load the value of register ID2, load the value present in identifier 2 into register R2. Next we have to multiply these two. Okay, ID2 plus T1. Okay, addf R1 comma R2 comma R1. Addf, for addition choose addf instruction. Add to floating point. F means floating point number. Add to floating point number. For addition choose addf. So R2 value just now we have loaded from right, the value of ID2 just now we have loaded to register R2. Okay, so ID2 plus R1. So addf R2 comma R1 value, the value of T1 is now we have stored in R1, isn't it? Right. So this instruction will add the content of register R2 with the register R1, and the result after addition will be stored in register R1. Now we have to store the sum into register R1. So to store the sum in identifier identifier ID1 into the variable ID1. So we are choosing STF instruction, store floating point value. STF ID comma R1. So this instruction will store the value, the result that is present in register R1 into identifier 1. So this instruction will store the value that is store the result that is in register R1 into identifier 1. Okay, in this way the code generator translate each intermediate instruction by choosing the appropriate instruction from the instruction set. Okay, so first task is instruction selection. Instruction selection involves choosing appropriate machine instruction from the instruction set to translate each intermediate instruction. Next, register allocation and assignment. Register allocation and assignment involves deciding what value to keep in which registers. Register allocation and assignment is the second task of the code generator. It involves deciding what value to keep in which registers. Actually, this task, register allocation and assignment, so there are two subtasks are there. So first one is register allocation. So second task is register assignment. So register allocation and assignment is further divided into two subtasks. So first one is register allocation, second one is register assignment. What is register allocation? In register allocation, what we do, we list out the variables. In register allocation, we list out the variables whose values we want to store in registers. For example, that is, in register allocation, we list out variables whose values we want to store in registers. For example, so we list out variables say A, B and C. Okay, so that their values say 7, 11 and 15. These are the values of these respective variables we want to store in registers. Okay, in register assignment, we choose registers. In register assignment, what we do, we choose registers to store the values of variables. We choose registers. So we choose register R1 to store the value 7 of variable A. That is, in register assignment, we choose registers, okay, to store the values of variables. For example, we choose register R1 to store the value 7 of variable A. We choose register R2 to store value 11 of variable 3 and so on. Okay. So third task, of the code generator is instruction ordering. So instruction ordering involves deciding in what order to schedule the execution of program. Instruction ordering means this, that is so this is the order of execution of instruction, that is first LDF instruction will be executed followed by this. So sequential order will be followed. For this target program, sequential the instructions are executed in sequential order or in different order also for some other sequence. Okay. So instruction ordering involves deciding in what order to schedule the execution of instructions, whether the code that is instruction ordering involves deciding in what order to schedule the execution of instructions, whether you want to make the instructions to be executed in sequential order, one after the other, instruction number 1 to be executed first, instruction number 2, 3, 4, this sequential order or some other different order. So instruction ordering involves deciding in what order to schedule execution of instructions. So right, so for this translation statement, so this was the output of the code optimizer, and the code generator has produced this. We have behaved just like code generator, and we have produced a target program in assembly level language. In a target program, each instruction is called a target instruction. Okay. So issues in the design of code generator. This is very, very important for the point of examination. So you may get a question like this: explain various issues in the design of code generator for 10 marks. The question is, explain various issues in the design of code generator. Okay. So what are these issues? The designer and the developer of the code generator must be familiar with these 5 issues before the code generator is developed. That is, before the code generator module is designed and developed, the designer and developer must be familiar, must know these 5 issues. Before the code generator module is designed and developed, the designer and developer must know, designer and developer must be familiar with these 5 issues. So which are those? Input to the code generator. Second one is target program, also called output from the code generator. So third one is instruction selection. So fourth one is register allocation, and fifth one is evaluation order. Once again, I repeat, there are 5 code generation issues. So first one is input to the code generator. Second one is target program, also called output from the code generator. So third one is instruction selection. Fourth one is register allocation. And fifth one is evaluation order. So code generator issues. Input to the code generator. So we have taken example of translation of assignment statement. This is input to the code generator, isn't it? Input to the code generator is intermediate code. Code means set of instruction. Input to the code generator is intermediate code, something like this. Input to the code generator is intermediate code like this. The most popular representation of intermediate code is 3 address instructions. Okay. So first issue is input to the code generator. So input to the code generator is intermediate code or intermediate instructions produced by the code optimizer, and information in the symbol table to determine runtime addresses for data objects denoted by intermediate instructions. Input to the code generator is intermediate code or intermediate instructions produced by code optimizer, and second one is information in the symbol table to determine runtime addresses for data objects denoted by the intermediate instructions. So you know symbol table contains the symbols that are used in the source program. Symbol table contains the list of the symbols that are used. Symbol table contains complete information of all the symbols that are used in the program. That is symbol name, data type, scope of the symbol, okay, the address of the variable, okay, like this. So symbol table contains information of all the symbols used in the program. So the information of the, present in the symbol table is also used by the code generator, okay, to determine to find runtime addresses. Information in the symbol table will be used to find runtime addresses for the data objects. So intermediate code may be in the form of 3 address code. This is the most popular representation. Second one is syntax tree or directed acyclic graph or Polish notation. So intermediate code may be in the form of 3 address code or syntax tree or DAG or Polish notation. In Polish notation, the expression will be either infix expression may be in infix notation, which we call it as an infix expression. The expression can be in prefix notation, we call it as a prefix expression. The expression can be postfix notation, we call it as a postfix expression. Okay, in infix expression, the operator will be in between the operands. In postfix expression, the operator, all operators will be at the end of the operands. In a prefix expression, all the operators will be before the operands. So target program. Target program is the output of code generator. Target program is the output of code generator. So 3 types of target program can be produced. That is, the developer must know what are the different types of target program that can be produced. The developer, the designer, and the developer must know what are the different, what are the possible types of target program can be produced, right? So target program is the output of code generator. 3 types of target program can be produced. So first one is absolute machine code. Second one is relocatable machine language code. And third one is assembly language code. I repeat, there are 3 types of target program can be produced. Absolute machine code, relocatable machine language code, and assembly language code. If the target program is absolute machine code, then the advantage is that the target instructions can be directly placed into fixed memory locations and can be executed immediately. If the target program is absolute machine code, then the advantage is that the target instructions can be directly placed into fixed memory locations and can be executed immediately. So preferably, absolute machine code is absolute machine code is preferable for short target programs so that CPU can access in a faster manner. Right? So this absolute machine code, so for every instruction the address is specified. Okay, for every instruction to which address in memory location the instruction to be loaded is specified. So they are loaded into fixed memory locations, and once the instructions are loaded into fixed memory locations, there is no scope for relocation. There is no scope for shifting those instructions into different area in memory. Absolute means fixed. So for every instruction the address is fixed, so the loader will simply load the instructions into fixed memory locations. So if the output is absolute machine code, so this is preferable for short target programs so that the processor can access in a faster manner. If the target program is relocatable machine language code, then Subroutines can be compiled separately to produce object modules for each subroutine. Second advantage is several relocatable object modules can be linked together and loaded for execution using linking editor, using linking loader. You should know what is a linker. Linker is a system software which combines several object modules into one object module. Linker is a system software which links several different object modules into one object module. And loader loads that single combined object module into memory. Loader will load the single linked object module into main memory and prepares it for execution. So linking loader is a software which performs both the functions, linking as well as loading. So linking loader is a type of loader which performs both the functions, that is linking loader and the it is a linking loader is basically a linker as well as a loader. It links all the object modules in one unit, right, and it loads the single module into main memory for execution. Relocating loader will say relocating a loader. So relocating loader means once the target program is placed into some memory location, there is a scope for shifting those instructions to different area in memory. Okay. Once the instructions are loaded to one area in memory, so there is a scope for shifting the instructions into different area in memory. That is a characteristic of relocatable machine language code. If the target program is relocatable machine language code, then subroutines can be compiled separately to produce object modules for each subroutine. Several relocatable object modules can be linked together and loaded for execution using linking loader. If the target program, this is the third possible outcome of code generator. If the target program is in assembly level language, then the code generation task is somewhat easier for designer and the developer. If the target program is in assembly level language, then the code generation task is somewhat easier for designer and the developer. So third issue, instruction selection. Instruction selection involves choosing the appropriate machine instruction from the instruction set to translate each intermediate instruction. Okay, instruction selection involves to translate each instruction, choosing the appropriate instructions from the instruction set. Choosing the appropriate instruction from the instruction set to translate each instruction. This is called instruction selection. Speed of the instruction selected is an important factor. Choose an appropriate instruction from the instruction set that executes faster and take less memory space. Choose an appropriate instruction from the instruction set that executes faster and take less memory space. Selection of instruction depends on instruction set of target machine. Selection of instruction depends on instruction set of the target machine. So for example, let us translate this intermediate instruction. It's a 3 address instruction. 3 addresses are there and one operator on the right hand side. Let us translate this intermediate instruction into sequence of assembly language instructions. So we have to load the value of variable y into some register. The first task is to load the value of variable y into some register. So LD, choose instruction LD. LD means load. Assume y and z store integer values. Okay. So LD R1 comma y. LD R1 comma y. So this instruction loads the value of variable y into register R1. The instruction LD R1 comma y loads the value of y into register R1. Next we have to multiply y plus z, right? So since plus operation is there, choose the instruction add. Add here, this one. R1, the value of y is now present in register R1. Okay, add R1 comma R1 comma Z. Add R1 comma R1 comma Z. Add the content of register R1 with the value of variable Z and store the result in register R1. This instruction, so what is the meaning of this instruction? Add the content of register R1 with the variable Z and store the result in register R1. Next we have to store the result again in register X. So to store the result in variable X, we have to choose store instruction, ST. Okay, not STF. STF for storing floating point numbers. ST for storing only integer values. STX comma R1. STX comma R1. This instruction stores the value, the result that is in register R1 into variable X. STX comma R1. This instruction will store the result value that is stored in the register R1 into variable X. So consider this instruction. A equals A plus 1. We will translate this particular instruction into assembly language instruction. Okay, right? So we have to add the content of variable A with 1 and the result we have to store in variable A. Okay. Now we have to load the value of A into register R1. Now we are translating A equals A plus 1, right, into sequence of assembly language instructions. First we have to load the value of A into register R1. So select LD instruction, LD R1 comma A. This instruction will load the value of A into register. This is load the value of A, this is not Y. This is load the value of A. Load the value of A into register R1. Okay. Now value of A is in register R1. Since plus is there, select add instruction. Add R1. This is actually R1 comma hash 1. This is actually add R1 comma hash 1. Add R1 which contains the value of A with the value 1 and the result store in register R1. Add the content of R1 with the value 1 and store the result in register R1. Now we have to store the complete result again back to variable A. So, right, we have to store the result back to variable A. For that, choose ST instruction from the instruction set. ST A comma R1. Okay. So this instruction store the content of R1, that is A plus 1, into register A. So this instruction will store the content of register R1 into variable A. If the instruction set contains INC, increment instruction, then choosing this instruction to translate A equals A plus 1. It is not A minus A plus 1. If the instruction set contains INC, increment instruction, then choosing this instruction to translate A equals A plus 1 is more efficient than the above 3 instruction. Because each instruction will take more time for execution. So if each instruction take 1 unit of time, so 3 instructions will take 3 unit of time. So instead of this, if we want to translate this instruction instead of 3 instructions, so this instruction will be more efficient than this. Because it takes only 1 instruction, it may take 1 unit of time compared to 3 unit of time taken by this instruction. Therefore, code generator must select the instruction which results in efficient target program. Therefore, code generator must select the instruction which results in efficient target program. So issue number 4, fourth issue, register allocation. Register allocation. So in general, register allocation refers to allocating registers to store data required for computation. In general, register allocation refers to allocating registers to store the data required for computation. So registers are the fastest computational units on the target machine. Okay. Available limited number of registers must be used efficiently. Available limited number of registers must be used efficiently. If all the registers are allocated with the data, if the processor has so n number of registers, if all the registers are allocated with the data, then the variables can be used to store the remaining data. You know, variables are the label for memory locations, isn't it? Variables are the label for memory locations. If all the registers are allocated with the data, then variables or memory locations can be used to store remaining data. Instruction which contain registers as operands are faster than instructions that contain variables as operands, isn't it? Instruction which contain registers as operands are faster than instructions that contain variables as the operands. Use of registers are divided into register allocation and register assignment. Use of registers are divided into register allocation and register assignment. So I already said what is register allocation. In register allocation, the variables are chosen so that their values are to be stored in registers. So register allocation means variables are chosen so that their values are to be stored in registers. For example, the variables A, B, C are chosen so that their values to be stored in registers. The variables A, B and C are chosen so that their values must be stored in registers. Second, register assignment. So in register assignment, we choose the registers to store values of variables. In register assignment, we choose registers to store values of variables. For example, registers R1, R2 and R3 are chosen to store the values of variables A, B and C. For example, registers R1, R2 and R3 are chosen to store values of variables A, B, C. Evaluation order. So fifth issue, evaluation order. So what is evaluation order? The order in which the instructions are executed and the operations are performed decides the efficiency of the target code. Instructions may be executed in the sequential order or whatever order. Okay. The order in which the instructions are executed and operations are performed decides the efficiency of the target code. Some computational order requires less number of registers. So picking the best order is one of the difficult tasks. Picking the best order is one of the difficult tasks. We avoid this problem by generating the target instructions. We avoid this problem by generating target instructions in the order by generating target instructions for all three address instructions in the order in which they are produced by the code optimizer. For example, so code optimizer has produced this as a first instruction. Code optimizer has produced this one as a first instruction. That means the code generator will take up this first instruction to translate into two instructions. So code optimizer has produced this as a second instruction. So code generator will translate this second instruction into, say, these three instructions, as these three assembly language instructions. Next, suppose the code optimizer has produced the third instruction. So code generator will take the third instruction. This is what the thing is. So we avoid this problem by generating the target instructions. For all three address instructions. For all three address instructions in the order in which they are produced by code optimizer. Okay. These are the target instructions in assembly level language. So this completes issues in the design of code generator. So next, target language. To design and develop a good code generator. So knowing the details of target machine is a prerequisite. To design and develop a good code generator, knowing the details of target machine is a prerequisite. Here we consider generating assembly language as target language for simple computer. Here we consider generating target language. Here we consider generating assembly language as target language for simple computer. Okay. So a simple target machine model. Our target machine performs load, store, arithmetic, conditional, and unconditional jump operations. So which are the operations our machine will perform? Load, store, arithmetic, conditional and unconditional jump instructions. The machine contains n number of general purpose registers, R0, R1 up to Rn minus 1. The machine contains n number of general purpose registers, R0, R1 up to Rn minus 1. All values are integers. All values are integers. Most instructions consist of opcode followed by target followed by list of source operands. Most instructions consist of opcode followed by target followed by list of operands. For example, consider this instruction: add R1, R1, R2. So add is the opcode. Add is the opcode followed by target. Target means the R1 is the target where the result are stored. R1 is the register, target register where the results is stored. Source, these are the source operands. This is the source operands. R1 and R2 are the source operands. The meaning of this instruction is the content of register R1 must be added with register R2 and the result must be stored in register R1. The meaning of this instruction is the content of register R1 must be added with register R2 and the result should be stored in register R1. Next, a label may precede the instruction. Each instruction may have a particular label. Any label. A label may precede the instruction. Assume the following instructions are available. Our machine. So we have taken a target machine. So this target machine supports these operations. It is load operations, store operations. Our target machine supports load operations, store operations. Next, arithmetic operations, unconditional jump operations, and conditional jump operations. Okay, right? So our machine supports load instruction, LD instruction for performing load operation. Our machine supports LD instruction for load operations, ST instruction for store operations, for storing the values. So for arithmetic operations, it supports ADD, add, subtract, SUB, MUL, multiply, DIV, divide instructions, and divide. Okay, so these are the opcodes that are supported for performing arithmetic operations: add, subtract, MUL, multiply, DIV, divide. Right. So for unconditional jump instruction, our target machine supports BRL. Okay. For conditional jump instruction, our target machine supports condition or comma L. So we'll see in detail later. Okay, right? So load operations. So this is the general form for this is general to perform load operations. The target machine supports LD instruction. The target machine supports LD instruction to perform load operations. So this is the general form of load instruction: LD, DEST, comma ADR. LD, DEST, comma ADR. So this instruction loads the value of location ADDR into location DEST. This instruction loads the value of location ADDR into location DEST. So you know dest means destination and ADDR means address of the memory location. DEST means destination, ADDR means address of the memory location. So first example, example number 1. The instruction LD R1, X. Instruction LD का R1, X. R1 is destination, X is address. Okay, source operand, right? So the instruction LD R1, X. The instruction LD R1, X will load the value of memory location X into register R1. The instruction LD R1, X will load the value of location X. The instruction R1, X will load the value of location X into register R1. So example number 2, second example, the instruction LD R1, R2. The instruction LD R1, R2 will load the value of register R2 into register R1. This instruction will load the value of register R2 into register R1. Store operations. Okay, right? To support store operations, so the target machine model contains ST instruction. Okay, for store operations, this instruction can be used, right? STX, R1, STX, R1. So this instruction stores the value that is present in register R1 into a location X, into the memory location X, into the variable X. The instruction STX, R1 will store the value of register R1 into memory location X. So third one, arithmetic operations. Okay. So for performing arithmetic operations, the instructions are of the form opcode, followed by destination, followed by n number of sources. Source 1, source 2 and so on. Okay. For example, the instruction add R1, R2, R3. For example, the instruction add R1, R2, add R3 will add the value of register R2 with the register R3, and the sum result will be again stored in register R1. So the meaning of this instruction is the content of register R2 will be added with register R3 and the result will be stored in register R1. So opcode is add here. So destination is R1 here where the result is stored. Source 1 and source 2 are registers R2 and R3 respectively. So fourth one, for unconditional jump instructions, the target for to support unconditional jump operations. So the instruction that is the target machine model supports BRL. It is just like go to in C language. So BRL branch to label L unconditionally. So this instruction causes control to branch to instruction. This instruction causes control to branch to instruction whose label is L. So BRL, this instruction causes control to branch to instruction whose label is L. So fifth one, so conditional jump instruction. So our target machine model supports this instruction bcond R, L, that is conditional jump instruction. Okay. So B means branch, condition means, so B means branch, condition means any test on the value of register R. Condition means any test on value of register R. So this instruction causes branch to label L based on the value of register R. So this instruction causes branch to this instruction. This instruction causes branch to label L based on the value of register R. For example, consider the instruction. For example, consider the instruction BLTZ R1, L. So BLTZ means branch. B means branch to label L if the value of register R1 is less than Z. What is the meaning of this instruction? B means branch. Branch to label L. Branch to label L. If the value of register R1 is less than 0. Okay, BLT is in branch to label if the register value is less than 0. So this causes branch, this instruction causes branch or jump to label L if the value in register R1 is less than 0. So if not, control goes to next instruction. If the value of register R1 is not less than 0, then the control goes to the next instruction that follows this particular instruction. Addressing mode. Addressing mode specify how to compute effective address of the operand. So you know these are the operands, no? All of you know that these are the operands. These are the operands, isn't it? These are the operands of the instructions, right? These are the operands of the instructions. So all the operands are registers here. All the operands are registers here. R2 comma A. Suppose A is there. So R2 first operand is register. Second operand is memory location. Suppose if the instruction is add R1 R2 comma A, means first operand is register. Second operand is memory location, like that. So here all the operands are registers. So addressing mode specify how to compute effective address of the operand using content of registers or data present in the instruction. Addressing mode specify how to compute effective address of the operand using content of registers or data present in the instruction. So for example, so that is our target machine model support different addressing modes. Okay, our target machine model supports different addressing mode. First example, indexed addressing mode. So consider the instruction LD R1 comma EF R2. So consider the instruction LD R1 comma EF R2. So this is the one of the operand. So how the effective address of this operand is calculated? The effective address of this particular operand. The effective address of this particular operand is calculated by computing by computing the sum of variable A, that is the content of variable A will be added with the content of register R2. Okay, the content of register A will be added with the content of register R2, and the whatever the sum, so that value will be loaded into register R1. Here the effective address of the second operand EF R2 is the sum of content of variable A and the content of register R2. The sum value is loaded into register R1. Example 2, indexed addressing mode. The model, our target machine model also supports that is a second example is indexed addressing mode. So consider the instruction LD R1 comma 100 R2. In the earlier instruction, the variable name is specified. Here the integer value is specified over here. So consider the instruction LD R1 comma 100 of R2. Here the value 100 will be added with the content of register R2, and the resulting value will be loaded into register R1. So effective address of the second operand 100 of R2. Effective address of the second operand 100 of R2 is nothing but is the sum of integer value 100 and the content of register R2. So the 100 will be added with the content of register R2. Whatever the value, that is the effective address of the second operand, that will be loaded to register R1. So example 3, immediate constant addressing mode. Example 3, immediate constant addressing mode. Okay, our target machine model supports immediate addressing mode also. So consider the instruction LD R1 comma hash 100. Hash is used to indicate that the value is specified in the instruction itself. Immediate data. Hash specifies that the instruction, the value, the data is specified in the instruction itself. So LDR1 comma 100, that is this instruction, it is a simple instruction. So it causes the value 100 to be loaded into register R1. This instruction causes the value 100 to be loaded into register R1. So example number 4, two indirect addressing modes. Two indirect addressing modes. So consider the target instruction LD R1 comma star 100 of R2. Consider the target instruction LD means load R1. So load into this register, load into this register. So what? This is the operand star 100 R2. So the effective address of the operand, the effective address of the operand star 100 of R2 is obtained by adding 100. The effective address of the operand star 100 of R2 is obtained by adding 100 to the content of register R2, and the sum is loaded into register R1. How the effective address is calculated? The 100, the value 100 will be added with the content of register R2, and the result will be stored in register R1. So you have to note that register R2 contains value which is the address of the memory location. So you have to note that register here, the register R2 contains not the value of any variable. Register R2 contains not the value of any variable, but it contains the address of the memory location. Okay. So consider that is translating sample 3 address statements into assembly language statements. So we will consider translating sample 3 address statements into assembly language statements. Okay. So consider the statement x equals y minus z. That is as a first example. So consider the statement x equals y minus z. This statement is translated into following 3 assembly language statements. So suppose this statement, this 3 address instruction is given as input to the code generator. The code generator produces these 4 instructions as the output. Okay. So first the value of y we are loading into register R1. So for that we are selecting LD instruction, LD R1 comma y. So we have to load the value of y into register R1. So select the instruction LD. This LD, the operands are R1 comma y. The value of y will be loaded into register R1. I have written reverse arrow mark to show that the value of y is assigned loaded to register R1. Value of y is loaded to register R1. I have written a reverse arrow mark here. Next we have to add, we have to subtract these 2 values y minus z. And before that the value of z we want to load in register R2. Okay, the value of z we want to store in register R2. Again choose load instruction, load R2 comma z. Load R2 comma z, the value of z will be loaded into register R2. Next we have to subtract these 2 values. So value of y and z is in register R1 and R2 respectively, isn't it? Value of y and z are present in registers R1 and R2 respectively. Okay, subtract for for performing subtraction, you choose sub instruction, subtract instruction from the instruction set. Subtract R1 comma R1 comma R2. R1 is the target, this one, right? Target register. So R1 R2 are source registers. So add the content of R1 and the so that is subtract the content of R1 with the R2 and store the result back in register R1. Next, last instruction. So finally we have to store the result of y minus z into x. Okay, store the result R1. So R1 contains the result y minus z. So stx comma R1, stx comma R1. So this instruction causes the value of register R1 to be loaded into register X. So consider second example, consider translating the statement b equals e of I. B equals e of I, that is ith value of the array A, ith value of array A should be assigned to variable B. Ith value of array A should be assigned to variable B. Okay. So first what we do is we load the index I into for example e of 5, b equals e of 5, like that. So load the index value I into register. Okay, so for that choose load instruction, load r1 comma I. So the value of I, whatever value of I will be loaded into register r1. And the array contains floating point values. So to store each floating point value, 8 byte of data is required. Assume the array contains floating point value. Okay, to store each floating point value, so 8 bytes of data, 8 bytes of memory is required. So what we do is, so we will multiply this index value, that the R1 contains index value with 8, and the result we are storing in this. We are multiplying the index value with 8, and we are storing the product in register R1. Next, what we do, E of I, that is B equals E of I value we have to store in B. So here this instruction. So LD R2 comma EF R1. Okay. So here the content of A, that is starting address. The content of A will be added with content of register R1. The content of A, array A, that is starting address, will be added with content of register R1, and the result will be stored in register R2. Okay, right? So store the result back in register B. Store the result back in register B. So STB comma R2, this causes the value of register R2 to be stored in variable B. So example number 3, the instruction x less than y go to L is translated like this. The instruction x less than y, if that is the instruction if x less than y go to L, the instruction if x less than y go to L is translated into these set of instructions. Okay, so x value we are loading in register R1, and y value we are loading in register R2. Okay, right? So we are subtracting the content of subtracting the x and y values, that is R1 minus R2 value we are subtracting, and the result value we are storing in register R1. Okay, the value of x and y we are storing in register R1 and R2 respectively. So we are subtracting x minus y we are doing. So subtract R1 and R2 values are subtracted, and the result after subtraction we are storing in register R1. So branch BLTZ R1M, that means this instruction causes jump to location label M. This instruction causes branch to or jump to label M if the value of register R1 is less than 0. This instruction causes branch to label M if the value of register R1 is less than 0. Here M is the label that represents the first machine instruction generated from 3 address instruction that has the label L. Here M is the label that represents the first machine instruction generated from 3 address instruction that has the label L. So this completes code generation. Okay, this completes code generation, and this completes the whole compiler design also. So till now I have completed 3 modules. Till now I have completed 3 modules. Module 3, 4 and 5 are completed, and in the next class I will start system software. From the next class onwards I will cover the remaining 2 modules of this particular subject. Okay, thank you.